sixth episode. Welcome to the sixth episode of Gen Z Investing Insights. I'm excited. It's the end of the school year, so we're gonna have a lot more content coming out in the next couple of weeks. But I just want to start off talking about school a little bit more since it's all of our brain. So my question was, should ChatGPT be integrated into student learning? Like, should students be able to like use ChatGPT to like answer questions and not necessarily like use it to cheat, but just have it integrated into their learning? What do you guys think?
Personally, I think it's a lot like when the internet first came out. I think when the internet first came out, like it was probably seen as more. I mean, I wasn't alive then, but my guess is it was probably seen as a way to like cheat and find answers rather than going to like the old textbooks way. So I think AI is really the new internet. I think it's such a big revolution, and I think schools should start implementing it just because it's so useful. We're not going to need to know all these basic facts that we could just chat GBT it now and find the answers to all that. There's so many more easy ways to do things, and I think it's just a waste of time to continue to do the old way, and basically classes eliminating AI.
Yeah, I totally agree with Pierce. I think it's the same argument as when calculators were being brought out. It was like, well, if we use calculators, the students aren't going to know how to do math. Well, students still know how to do math. It's more efficient, it's more practical. So I think AI needs to be integrated into a way where it allows students to be more efficient with how they do their actual academics. However, it shouldn't be writing papers for students.
Yeah, I think you guys are both right. It's definitely similar to the calculator in which it makes you more efficient, and it's similar to the internet where it's like this new technology that could be weird and could like give you false information. But I also think that if we implement it too much, it makes teachers obsolete, which I don't know if is a bad thing. I like my teachers, but if we're prioritizing AI too much in our schoolwork, we either have to commit to it or not commit to it. Maybe we do a little bit of both. Like we put the calculator thing, like we use it a little bit just to make us more efficient. But I think if we do too much of it, it's going to make teachers obsolete and change learning in so many ways that I don't know if we're ready for yet.
Well, I'm
Um,
interested. Why do you think it'll make teachers obsolete?
I was doing this assignment. My physics teacher made us do this assignment where it was like this big packet on the Doppler effect, and he wanted us to answer all the questions with ChatGPT. So I was doing the assignment, and I realized like the answers and the information, the way it was presented to me, and it just gave me it gave me the information in such a way that's like a teacher hasn't explained it that well to me before, where AI has this ability to teach me things in such a just like an easy manner that like I feel like teachers can't do because like they don't have like like they're
Yeah, they can never beat the AI in that sense.
because when you're doing an AI, especially if there's like some education-based AI, there's so many different data points that goes into a large language model that a teacher's brain isn't that big that it just makes it way better than a teacher.
Yeah, and I
I
think
100% agree.
I agree. I think it's a really good point. But I think at least for now, and also like going into the future, is students need to be taught, like for instance, how to actually use the AI, how to use open AI to, or like how to like interpret what it gives you. Because you can ask, like say like for instance, you can't have it write your papers, but say you're allowed to use it for quote selection. How do these quotes that this AI selected, how do you integrate this into something? How do you find the meaning behind these quotes? How do you use AI to be more efficient? That's something that teachers could be used for because AI can't really, at its current stage, can't really tell you.
I like that. I don't think AI right now can replicate one's individual voice. I think that's found kind of within this, especially I think a teachers like in the past were very much research based. Like you have to fill out, what is this, what is that? And I think we're evolving into a new era where we're gonna have to share our personal voices and where teachers are gonna have to teach us to really find our own voices rather than teach us material. So I think it's gonna be a really interesting uh like what's going to happen in the future is still really much in question, but I don't think teachers are going to be obsolete necessarily. I think rather they're going to have to evolve to match what the AI is going to be capable of in the future.
Yeah, I think what we're getting down to is that information is becoming so much more accessible with the advancement of technology. And if a teacher's role is to teach you things, and that the things that they're teaching you is just information, and that information is more accessible when you're using an AI. What's going to become more important for a teacher to do is to teach you how to think of that information and how to process it and what to do with that information. So I think that's what a teacher's role might evolve into, is that thought process of computing as a human that information. But the next question I wanted to get into was, since ChatGPT just released on mobile, another mobile application that has a good AI is Snapchat. And I was doing one of my projects in school the other day, and someone started using the Snap AI just to like answer basic questions that they needed for the project. So what I was wondering is, especially for our demographic, would it be easier and more popular to use OpenAI's native ChatGPT AI large language model, or would it be easier to use something that teenagers already use all the time, which is Snapchat, and use their large language model? What do you guys think is going to be more used, the Snapchat LLM or the ChatGPT LLM on mobile?
I think they're in different fields. For me, because I've used both, what I've observed is I think Snapchat is much more of like a personal assistant type of AI, where if you're asking it to do something, you're asking it like, you could ask how was your day and stuff like that. It'll communicate in that much better than I think ChatGPT was. But I think ChatGPT for research purposes and for general information is far more powerful than the Snapchat AI that's present right now.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the Snapchat AI was created to be a friend. It's more of like, I mean, I don't know if it's a personal connection, of course, because it's like an AI. However, it's more to connect with. But I also think that you're using ChatGPT for research, evidence, things like that.
Yeah, I think they both have very like similar functionality, but it's just like what's more easy to use and what's more like accessible to me. Like if it's more easy for me to get information and to use an AI with Snapchat or ChatGPT, I'm going to use that. And I think it really just comes down to like which is easier to use. But I forgot which one of you guys brought this up, but it was like how it's talking to an AI, like you're making a relationship with an AI, which is Snapchat's thing. This is kind of out there, but when do you guys think that AI is going to be like sentient? Like it's going to be like real?
Bro, I hope no time soon. I'm kind of scared for when that comes. Like, I don't know. It's a little scary to think about that we're going to be able to create conscious,
I
or at least,
watched uh I watched the 2001: A Space Odyssey on like Saturday, and now I'm like, what if we're there yet? Like, what if that the robot in that movie is like already out there and already exists? Like,
dude, it's kind of scary. Like, I can't really say I'm a big fan of that.
We're
I'm
getting
not gonna
close, I
say.
think. I think we're getting close.
Elon Musk probably has that like in his basement.
I don't know if you guys seen those videos, but there is I don't know if it was Jubilee or someone made a video on like trying to guess who the AI was, and they voted out some real people before the AI. So I mean, in the future, AI may be so advanced that, it'll just blend in with a person. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see that within the next, 5 years or even sooner.
I mean, if when ChatGPT 5, I think that's the name, when it comes out, the Turing test, I wonder, so a Turing test, if you guys don't know, is, and I might be wrong with this, is you take two people, one of them is an AI, one of them is a real person, and you talk to them and you have to just decipher which one is the AI and which one's the human, and that's the Turing test. AI passing the Turing test means that the person who's interviewing the two people thinks that the AI is human. And when I was saying, oh, I wonder if the Turing test will happen with ChatGPT 5, I'm saying, I wonder if someone was to have like a real conversation with an AI, if the person would think that the AI is a person. Do you guys think like it would pass the Turing test? The new ChatGPT 5?
I mean, yeah, probably. Like, I know that Snapchat AI is different, but like, I talked to Snapchat AI. I'm like, this seems like I'm having a more like human connection with some of my friends. Like, it's like asking me about my days, asking me about like my problems. It's like, even though like there's obviously no emotion behind the messages, it messes with your emotions, and I think that's what we perceive when we talk to people. So I wouldn't be surprised if it can pass it right now.
And I think the more interactions as well that AI has with real humans, especially Snapchat AI, I think the better we'll get on detecting like human emotion in a way. So I think you'll start to see some like massive exponential understanding of AI, of human emotion coming in the future.
Do you guys think there's an opportunity for business that makes like a real like human AI system where it's like someone like have you guys seen Blade Runner where like Ryan Gosling's talking to the AI? Do you think there's an opportunity for a business like that?
Dude, think about the therapy, AI therapy. Ooh, that's a money machine because the AI, for instance, has access to every single mental health issue. It knows all the like ways you could fix it, all the anxiety reduction techniques. That it would know everything. It would be more effective. And once it's able to understand human emotions, it can do everything a therapist does. I mean, minus it's not like a real person, but I don't know. Maybe there's a job there or an opportunity there.
I think there's a lot of industries as well that could be applicable to. I mean, doctors, it's already, it turned virtual. We might as well have like an AI that can maybe prescribe people, different things right to their door. I mean, there's just so much opportunity for this industry to grow. Medical, so many fields where I feel like jobs can be replaced by AI, which is another threat in the future.
Yeah, I think it's so exciting, like the amount of businesses that could come out. It's so much like the dot-com boom. It's so much like that. Like I didn't live through that, but what I've heard, it's so similar to that. But I'm just so interested in like how it's going to like what's going to happen, but also like how it's going to get regulated and how that regulation is going to if it'll change that excitement and that innovation and that entrepreneurship, or if that'll continue. Going in to some other stuff. I want to talk about personal finance for a second. Our personal finance segment, the TikTok algo segment for today. I wanted to ask, what do you think is the best beginner stocks for someone who's just starting investing?
What I always say invest in companies that you use, because a lot of the companies that you use are going to be these big companies. Like for example, Apple, you might use AT&T in your daily life. So these are some like beginner stocks. If you're using it, if you're a consumer of it, and you believe in the product in the future, I think that's a good stock to base your picks on. But if you're looking to be a more safe beginner, I mean, always recommend just going into bigger ETFs. The SPY is all the top 500 American companies. There's so many different, ETFs out there. There's the ARC for higher growth, and this just helps you diversify your holdings, and so you don't witness maybe 100% of the upside on some of these stocks, but you don't witness even more risky is that downside that comes when maybe one of these more risky stocks tanks from earnings, or if one of the 500 stocks in the S&P tanks, you're not going to see a huge change in your portfolio.
Alex, what do you think are the best beginner stocks?
I believe the best beginner stocks are SPY and what Pierre said. Every single stock that or every single company you use in your day-to-day life and you see them innovating is a stock that I'd want to invest in. Like EA, you play EA games, you believe in their future. That's a good stock. I believe in Apple. I believe in Apple's future. I think Apple's a good stock. I think it's just things that you use in your life and that have consistency behind them.
I love EA stock. I need to talk about that every episode. I don't think there's anything new with EA, but I just love their stock. I need to say
Big
that every
name.
episode. Big EA guy. EA guy. Next thing I want to get into, I've been looking at a lot of fintech businesses and new fintech startups, and especially the ones that are focused towards Gen Z and who are trying to market towards Gen Z. Um, what do you guys think? How do you guys think that these fintech businesses who are marketing towards Gen Z should try and market to Gen Z? Like, what do you guys think will get Gen Z most interested in their fintech products?
Think if they use like open AI. I feel like that's like a big thing, especially Gen Z. Every kid in school is using ChatGPT now. I think using like large language models would really pull in Gen Zers. And also I think that just marketing, like good marketing on TikTok, or just like something that's innovative, something that's new to really, to inspire Gen Zers.
I think as Gen Z as well, I think a lot of us are, dare I say, like instant gratification. We see like those TikToks we talked about on our last show. Make sure to check it out if you haven't yet. On all like the crazy returns and all that stuff. I think a lot of Gen Z we're looking for those quick returns. So we're looking for something that could show that. I mean, Robinhood, for example, was like the first big Gen Z company where they were able to almost Like they had all the colorful charts, all that, all they put investing in a new light. And I think if there's another company that's able to do that and make it even easier, maybe like a swipe thing like Tinder, or let's say like OpenAI or something like that, I think that'll really, really appeal to like Gen Z in the future.
Yeah, I think there's three things that really get Gen Z interested in financial apps is the community sense, which you've seen through Wall Street Bets, the gamification sense, which you've seen as Pierce highlighted through Robinhood, and also the instant gratification through day trading. Those are the three things that I think have shown themselves that Gen Z loves the most. So preferably if you can incorporate all those things of community gratification and gamification into your product, I think that will get, no matter what your marketing is, get Gen Z interested in your product. Do you guys think that's true?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is TV. I just got finished watching Succession. It was a great episode. I don't know if you guys watched that show, but it made me think, streaming going on Netflix, going on HBO Max has gotten so big, and it's made cable TV so small. Do you guys think cable TV will even like exist in like 10 years? Or will it all be like YouTube and streaming platforms?
Well, do you count like YouTube TV as like cable, or is it like streaming?
I think that's a good question. I think because of its capabilities where you can just like watch long form content like YouTube videos, I'd count it as streaming.
Okay, well then to be honest, I'd say that there is no future for cable. I don't want to be absolute, but if YouTube TV is able to offer me everything my cable can offer me and more, why would I use cable? I think cable will die out with the generations that use cable. I don't like Gen Z, as a Gen Zer, I don't really talk to anyone who's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go watch some cable TV. It's like I'm gonna go on Netflix, like I'm gonna go on HBO Max. So I think it'll die out with the generations that use it.
Yeah, I agree. I used to be a cable TVer. Now I'm turning more into like a HBO, Netflix type of guy, and I agree. I think it's so much easier now to watch a show on Netflix and HBO, and there's so much more people like the growth is so insane on these platforms that the TV that we're seeing on these platforms, the exclusive TV especially, is just so good. I mean, I watched I can't click the name out. Succession, of course. There was another great show that I'll get the name next time. But there's so many great shows now, and they're so well made on these platforms that I think cable TV just is really struggling to compete and will continue to struggle to compete in the future. I mean, sorry, one more thing before I stop. I think we saw ESPN do layoffs as well. So a lot of those platforms are just really struggling.
Yeah, I think Pierce's last point is the most interesting thing, which is the only thing that cable has going for it right now is sports. I think if cable is able to build like just get something new with sports and have it native to and exclusive to cable, that will be the only thing that kind of keeps cable relevant is sports. And I think when I define streaming, it's something that's adless or close to adless. But with sports, it's so built around ads. If you look at the Super Bowl, it's an advertisement television show. Most of it's just built around the ads. So if cable is able to keep it as an ad thing, I think cable will be fine. But if sports is able to become like a less advertisement based thing where they can have like segments in between like timeouts, then cable's kind of dead. Because if I can get live content all the time, I can get that constant dopamine from watching sports, then cable's dead. There's no more advertising.
Well, didn't
Uh,
Amazon buy Thursday Night Football, the rights to Thursday night or Monday night, one of the two, or Sunday night? I know they bought one of the days.
I think it was Monday. It was
Yeah,
Monday.
I remember it was big.
But I don't know if they stream that on Prime.
No, they do. It was exclusive. Like you had to get a subscription to watch Monday or Thursday Night Football.
I mean, if each major platform buys a night of football, I think
That's
it's over.
game, it's wraps. But
Game.
then the thing is, who's really going to spend 30 on Netflix, 30 on HBO, 30 on Amazon Prime. That doesn't really seem all that
I think they already are. I think most consumers already have those three main platforms, maybe four if you include Disney Plus. So I don't think it would be hard to get them to, even if you were to increase the subscription price, I don't think it would be hard to move them. Do you guys think that any like cable TV has anything else going for them other than sports?
I mean, no, not really.
They kind of have the news, I guess, in a little bit. I feel like a lot of news stations, you get a pretty diverse like amount of news stations on cable television, but that's still I don't think Gen Z watches as much news as maybe older generations do. So those are like the only two things that I can think of on the top of my head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
people get news. Oh, you go, Jacob.
that there's the boomers that watch Fox all day, but like once they're out, then I think that's kind of it.
They're out. Yeah, no, I mean, also like Gen Z, like I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I scroll TikTok and I get like some news there. I'll go read like on a website like CNN.com. Like I don't just watch live news.
Yeah, I think the for Gen Z at least, and speaking for me personally, like the main sources of news for me are those short form content places like TikTok and Instagram, and then newsletters through my email. Those are the main places I'm getting my news. I mean, sure, YouTube too, but once cable phases out, I think social media is going to really grab news. What do you guys think is the evolution of news? Where do you think it's going to go?
I think social media, but I think it's also a really dangerous future as well, just because we've seen so many like social media, things that have been doctored and all of that. But I think it'll be an interesting future for the news. I agree. I think I was reading an article today on how investigative journalism is, kind of taking over everything in comparison to kind of, old like news coverage because people want to find, the news story. They want to find something that's interesting. They want to find the next big thing. And that's, I think, what Gen Z wants. We don't want to hear, you know, basic information. We want to hear the newest thing in a quick format. So I think social media, I agree. I think social media is going to take over.
Yeah, I think it's just new, new, new. I mean, that's news. Is that why it's called news? It's because of new.
Yeah.
I don't know. Next thing I wanted to talk about was music. I was watching The Social Network again, and the whole like, what's his name? The Napster guy. And I was thinking about like how AI could do what the dot com boom did for music, where it makes it more democratized and free. Do you think AI will do that with music now, where it changes music in any way?
I mean, have you guys seen this is a kind of a separate side question. Have you guys seen the Drake AI
Yeah.
clips that have gone viral? Those are pretty I think AI is I think that might be it because they're gonna get so good, I feel like, in replicating these voices. That's gonna be a whole nother situation I think we're gonna have to deal with.
That's true. Yeah, like if you can just make because you can also like have you can write lyrics for the Drake AI to rap. So if you can just have the Drake AI make a song you like, is Drake gonna be okay with that? Like where his play is going? I think one thing that these rappers have is that most people listen for stories, and right now I don't think that the AI is able to write stories that people really personally connect with, and like they feel the emotion in their words. However, I in the next 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if the AI can.
I mean, if I just like write into a little music LLM box, make a Drake song about apples and bananas, then it's going to be a very basic Drake song about apples and bananas. I'm going to get the content I want. I think the interesting thing we'll see is if something like that does happen, how the music labels will respond to that and how they'll charge companies who are providing that. Like if they'll be with that or against that. And if they're gonna sign like labels with those companies for providing the generative content, if there'll be like a really big like price for that, like how would you monetize that? Do you guys have
I
any
guess
ideas?
my guess is the big record labels are probably not gonna like the AI songs because they have their own guys. They have that. I could see them doing what you said, which is hiring like a record, like an AI, maybe to write like lyrics, but I think they really value their own artist. because that's where the money's at. The money's at this how the song sells, the money's at the concerts, all that stuff. So I think they really value the individual artist voice. But I do think that AI could really play a part in shaping new songs and all that what was previously mentioned.
Yeah, I think a big part of music is brand, and I don't think AI can be a brand. I think if you look at what music is like, if you just think of music, you think of people, you think of the biggest brands, and AI can't do that. It can create content, but it can't create personalities. So I think that's one of the limits of AI is like personal expression. Until I don't know, we had the sentient talk earlier. I don't who knows in 10 years. And going and talking more about AI, Pierce and I were talking about a little. What do you guys think is the Nvidia earning? So Nvidia's earnings are this week. How do you guys think Nvidia will perform?
I'm shocked about Nvidia's performance in the past weeks. I'll just say that. I mean, I don't think anyone expected Nvidia to hit the high that it did around. I don't even remember how long it was whatever that 770 billion market cap that was at, however long ago, but it exceeded that. It hit a new 52-week high, I think last week. I was just really shocked by the performance, and I think earnings are and the future of Nvidia is really in AI. So I think it's super important. I think the market is really valuing the importance of AI to Nvidia and the pricing in the future potential of Nvidia very high right now. Upon earnings, I don't really know. I haven't really done too much research on what's expected for this quarter. I just know that I think in the future, I think Nvidia will have an interesting journey with AI.
I agree, Pierce. To be honest, I don't actually have any idea on what their earnings will be. I think that the big run up has been excitement for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about their products, but I do know they make like the best computer chips around. I don't know like if they can make some like cool AI product because I know they have all those cloud services where you can play like video games on a Chromebook where you just stream that. Um, I don't know how they monetize that, but if they could have some like cool AI product that gives you some service, I think they could do really well. I think Pierce said they were worth like 700 billion, so they obviously have the resources, and I think they just need to keep on grinding out good
Yeah,
products.
almost 800 billion now, I think. Last time I
800.
checked. Almost. It's pretty crazy.
It's crazy.
Considering Intel's worth like 120 or something like that, it's pretty impressive. Quite a change.
Do you know how much AMD is worth?
Probably 150, I think, around that. So they're both worth more than Intel, but I think Nvidia is like 5x Intel now, which is pretty wild.
All right, all right. Do you guys have any like general market predictions for this week?
Do
We
you know
saw a
when
run up last week.
yeah, do you know when Powell speaks? His next little
I don't know. He said something that kind of like freaked markets out because it was like the end of Friday and like S&P was tracking well. I think people were just getting like more confident after the regional shit that happened, and I think the markets are kind of just rallying a little bit. But unless like there's some AI shit that goes on or like Jay Powell says something crazy or Yellen, I think markets will trend up again.
I agree. I think we'll see a percentage up unless something happens unexpected.
I was surprised by last week's performance, how much it went up last week. I think it'll. I mean, I don't see anything too bearish in the future now. Earnings were all pretty much pretty good for most of the big caps, so I think we'll continue to see at least flat. Probably like I'm thinking same thing as last week. What I was saying, which is a percent, which I was wrong last week, but I'm gonna go with that percent up or down.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up? All right. So that's the end of the sixth episode. We're on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. I think that's all. But follow us on those platforms. Link is in the bio. And thank you for tuning in.